Now, public primary schools head teachers in schools that will be hosting junior secondary schools have had their responsibilities expanded to include the junior secondary schools division for an interim transition period ending December 30th, 2023. Education CS Ezekiel Machogu has further directed that the boards of management for the said public primary schools shall constitute special subcommittees to spearhead the management of education and resources for the school. Here now is NTV's Ibrahim Karanja.
As the school calendar for the academic year 2023 kicks off Monday next week, head teachers in charge of public primary schools will have to quickly put their primary divisions in order, as more responsibilities will be awaiting them 7 days later. In a raft of new guidelines approved by President William Ruto, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has bestowed the responsibility of running junior secondary on primary school heads, at least in the interim period ending December 30th, 2023. The management of education and resources for public junior secondary schools have also been placed in the hands of their host primary schools that will be required to form special subcommittees for their new role. The primary school head teacher and the chairperson of the board of management shall respectively serve as the secretary and member into the subcommittee. Private junior secondary schools across the country will establish boards of management, boards of directors or boards of trustees to run the school in accordance with Section 52A of the Basic Education Act.
Registration of runners in NEMIS will form the basis for disbursement of funds to public junior secondary schools, and I want to repeat that anybody who is not captured in NEMIS will not be able to be a beneficiary of the capitation funds, so the head teachers have to ensure that as runners are reporting to schools, they are properly captured in NEMIS.
Machogu also announced that textbooks and hard copies of the grade 7 curriculum design will be made available for all schools, with the Kenya National Examination Council expected to provide guidelines on the conduct of assessments at the schools. Public primary schools will also share their infrastructure and resources with their sister junior secondary schools during the interim period of 1 year, as the country awaits further directions from the Presidential Working Party on education expected in March 2023.
The Ministry of Education, through the Kenya Education Management Institute, has developed the curriculum and the training materials to build the capacity of education managers, including junior secondary school management boards and the school heads, on governance and accountability in the leadership of junior secondary school.
Meanwhile, Machogu has also explained that of the 15,000 shillings that will be released for each learner in the junior secondary school by the government, 4,000 shillings will be spent on development of infrastructure, with the greatest priority being on laboratories. Grade 7 learners will report to school on the 30th of January this year, with the government intending to spend 9.6 billion shillings as capitation grants for learners for term 1 and 2, with a further estimate of 18 billion shillings intended for use in the next financial year. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.